Theme music. Just do it.
Baby supposed to say some shit.
Daddy, I was getting ready to say we want to welcome y'all to Monique and Cindy's open relationship. But you gotta let the music come in a little bit though. Like you don't be just talking over it. Let's start again. Come on, please. Come on, go.
No, let me talk.
That's to shut you down.
Okay.
Welcome, our babies and our loves to Monique and Sydney's open relationship. Hello, my sweet sis. How's everyone doing? Great. It's like you heard them say, we good.
That's right.
How you doing, my daddy?
I'm doing super fantastic.
Me too, sweetness. So listen, today, what are we talking about?
Are you true to yourself?
Are you true to yourself? And how did we come up with this show today, Daddy?
Well, right now,
yes,
on Comedy Hype,
talk on it.
There's an interview that they're showing in little excerpts. And oftentimes, when we have these candid discussions, the question is asked, why y'all keep talking about this?
Yes.
Why you bringing it up? So we thought to ourselves that the only reason that we're doing it is because we have to be true to who?
Ourselves.
Got to be true to ourselves. That way we can be true to each other, and that way we can be true to the people that we meet. So we had to pose the question, are you true to yourself?
So the call-in number is 470-282-1802. And I got to tell y'all something. There were times that I was not true to myself and had to have them conversations with my husband, with my best friend, with my boy, where it was like, yo, what you doing? Like, what you doing? How you handling that? Because the person I know wouldn't have handled that way. So what are you doing? So let's go to the lines. Right?
Do it.
All right, I'm going to do it, Daddy.
Let's go to the lines.
Hey, you're on with Monique and Sydney. Who's this and where you're calling from?
And there it is.
And there it is. But this show right here, I think that it will allow you to question you. Like, are you truly being true to yourself in your decision making, in your choices? Are you good with it? Let's go to the lines. Hey, you're on with Monique and Sydney. Who's this and where you're calling from?
Yes. Hello, this is Nicole.
Hey, Nicole.
Let me just start off by saying, Monique, you are a blessing. I have been around for you for a while, and you've always made me laugh. Now you're making me pay attention to conversations that need to be had. So I thank you, sister, queen, and all of the above. Much respect and all due praise to you, Brother Sidney.
Thank you. Talk to us. Are you true to yourself?
I am working on that currently because I have not been.
Turn your box down, baby, so we can hear you and you're not echoing.
Is that better?
Yeah. Now, when you say you're working on it, what are you working on?
I'm working on being true to who I want to be. I've always known how to cater to everyone else because I'm a mother and a grandmother, but I haven't been true to catering to me. And I want to do that more.
Awesome. What are you going about doing particularly for yourself to, allow you to live that truth?
Well, first of all, I'm doing more research, doing things that feed and nourish my soul. Steer away from drama, chaos, anything negative. I'm not perfect, and this is not a perfect world. So a lot of times you got to make the choice and decision to say, this is not the road I choose to take. This is not the environment I choose to be in. These are not the people I choose to associate myself with. And it took me 40-some years to get to this, but thank God and Almighty, I'm here.
That's
Come
what
on, baby.
about.
We love you, sis.
Thanks for calling.
Come on, y'all. Are you true to yourself? And someone just put in the room let it go mode with all the exclamation things behind it, right? And I am assuming that they've seen the pieces that's come out with Comedy Hype. If I were to let it go, and if we were to stop talking, and if I were to stop talking, I wouldn't be true to who I am. Only because that's not who I am. I've always been a person that spoke up and spoke out. And the times that I didn't, it made me sick and it was making me mentally ill. And I said I wouldn't put myself back in that place again. So this show today is really to that person that to all of us. But are you struggling with being true to who you are and trying your best to be true to who you are and trying to figure out how you get there? Let's go to the lines. Hey, you're on with Monique and Sydney. Who's this and where you're calling from?
Hi, my name is Epiphany McArthur from North Carolina, Fayetteville, and yes, I am true to my. It took me a long time, and I'm young. I'm only 20 years old. I have my first baby, and stuff is just so different for me now. But I thank God that I came from the struggle that I was in, and that struggle made me and molded me into the person and mother I am today.
When you say you're 20 and you say it took you a long time,
We love you.
Well,
yeah,
it seemed like a long time to me because it seemed like the older you get, the faster time goes. And it only seemed like my little 20 years came up fast to me.
that's right. What was it that was the epiphany for you, and what were you challenged with that made you feel as if you weren't being true to yourself?
Well, my epiphany was when I figured out that I have a gift. Like, it's a lot of things that like other people don't see, and I feel certain vibes and energies that everybody I meet and run into and talk to, they're like, "Your name is Epiphany. What does that mean?" All type of stuff. But what happened was my mom, she fell ill when I was very young, when I was like 12 or 13, and I had to take care of her. I had to grow up fast. My childhood was gone. Like she had an aneurysm and her body shut down. And her whole left side, she couldn't move anything. So I had to go from being the child to taking care of my mother, who did everything for me. So it was really hard. And then my brother was in and out of jail, and my family is dysfunctional. But at that time, everybody had to come together and do what they had to do for my mom, and especially me. And I thank God, like I said, God rest her soul, because she passed away in 2017. But I love my mom, and I love that she was a part of raising me, and that she was the good mother that she was, and that she never like lost sight of her family and who she was, and that I thank God I'm a child of hers.
That's right.
We love you, baby.
Thanks for calling.
Keep standing true. Love it. And this is what was so sweet. That baby 20
Right.
was sweet and beautiful to get it at 20. Because some of us in our 50s. And we still trying to get it.
Still trying to get
Just to live in that place of freedom. And that's a great place to be. And let's go to the lines. Hey, baby, you're on with Monique and Sydney. Who's this and where you're calling from?
It's Tanisha calling from Snellville.
Hey, Tanisha, talk to us, baby.
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely true to myself. I find it hard just trying to reach people where they're at that's not true to themselves. So it's a challenge. But I feel like it's a responsibility, if you know the knowledge and you set free, just trying to help our other brothers and sisters and set them free as well.
What got you to that point so you can share with the other brothers and sisters that's listening today? What got you to the point where you had to be true to yourself?
I think for me, coming from a background of a lot of trauma, and I think one of the biggest things when I was dealing with, coming out to my family in regards to what happened to me, and our older cousin basically was trying to justify what happened to me, with the Bible. And you know how you're trying to grieve and go through the steps, of healing. But when I heard that slave mentality, with using the Bible to justify what happened to me and saying it's God's will and doing. I just said, no, I got to figure out a way once I heal. How do I go back to those same type of thinking people to say, no, isn't right, and let's not justify with using God.
Let me ask you, and it not for the purpose of just being personal, but if this was a church, we would call it the Church of Real. What was it, if you don't mind sharing, that happened to you personally? Because unbeknownst to you, your personal struggles are other people's personal struggles, and it may allow them, if they hear the details, if you can, to
yeah, I was raped and molested by several members of my family, and I came from a church background, and it was a small town, and when I saw these people in high places, such as ministers and deacons, and how it was all convoluted, when you go to the police department, he's a deacon and he's friends with this person, and I saw how it was all connected, and I'm looking at the doctrine that they're claiming. Oh well, once you say, it clears you from future sins and all obligations, and everybody's saved. And I'm like, okay, that's your doctrine, that's your belief, I get it. But at the same time, how do we hold people accountable if you're saying, hey, well, they're good and there's nothing you can do and they have no obligation? I just disagree with it.
Hey,
I just don't agree.
Hey, we appreciate you sharing that, because what you just said was powerful. It was powerful, and you delivered it as if it was just, that's what it is, because that's just what it is. But the power comes into the fact that so many people are enamored with titles. So many people are enamored with how much money you have. And what it seems like you said in that small town is that, but aren't they people just like I'm a person?
Yes.
Since they're not individuals that have wings, they don't fly without planes, they don't walk on water unless it's a small puddle. Why is it that I'm mistreated? Because you consider me to not have the same title as them. So for you to speak up for yourself and question that authority, believe it or not, makes them question what it is that they are doing. And that's the only way that change can take place, when you let people understand that the people that they hold up so high, they're human beings, just like you and I. We appreciate you, sister, for calling in.
We love you, baby. Come on, y'all. We're talking about it. Are you true to yourself? And just reading some of the comments and what some of our brothers and sisters are saying, that's something that we're struggling with. We're struggling with simply having the real conversations with us. And that causes us to be sick, y'all, mentally, physically, spiritually, because you know how you know something, but you're too scared to say it, but you know it. And then you got to show up grinning and smiling, but you know who you grinning and smiling with? They're tricking and tracking.
Tricking and tracking.
Come on, y'all. Let's go to the lines.
Tracking, you better work.
Ezra!
Hey, auntie and uncle and auntie.
Hey,
y'all
baby.
Are something else. Tricking and tracking.
Tricking and tracking.
Tricking and tracking.
Well, I just finished asking Peaches that question, if I'm true to myself. And she told me that she thinks that I reach out for validation from her, and that I don't know the level of, I don't know what it's called. In other words, I'm not as confident in myself as I should be with the things that I can do or that I have done. So I'm working on that now.
And I'll say this, that asking the opinion of someone that you respect is not necessarily, and there may be more to what it is that she said, but asking the opinion of someone you respect and love is not a sign, is not necessarily indicative of one not being confident, but it's one saying, listen, am I navigating this thing right? Am I seeing it right? Because people in the highest of positions need advisors, because we only have two eyes, one brain.
True that.
And oftentimes we can't see everything. So there's a level of you admitting how cognizant you are of that fact by saying to her, I respect you so much, and I know you're going to shoot me a fair one, that I'm going to come to you. Now, if you out there in the street asking everybody for their advice, how you think I'm doing? How's I'm doing? Then there may be a level of validation, but it's kind of like with Monique and I, when we have conversations, we have to look at each other and say, am I tripping? And what we know is we're going to tell each other what we need to hear, or what we need to know, not what we want to hear. So it's always good to have somebody, because we can just blindly go through life and think we see it the right way and whatever. But it's great because those are the things that when you do ask someone, did I handle that? Did I handle that right? And they say, no, you handled it incorrectly. The beauty is not in trying to be perfect. The beauty about you and individuals is when you find out you made a mistake and someone said, no, you may want to correct that you take the initiative to go about correcting that. That's what makes us beautiful as human beings, not this false illusion of trying to be perfect.
Exactly. Which is, and that's the reason why I try really hard to always ask her opinion, because I know she's not going to sugarcoat anything. That's just not Peaches. She's like you, Auntie. It would kill her to not say anything. She's not going to just stand there and go, no, you good. No. I don't get that from my baby. My baby will tell me the truth. She will definitely let me know, because all I have to say is, Mommy, I said so and so and so and so. What do you think? Well, no, you shouldn't have said that. Or before I even tell her what I say, well, I heard you say so and so and so and so, and you could have handled that differently. And we may go through our debate about it, because in my mind and heart, I really think that I handled it right. But in her heart, being on the outside, well, no, it didn't come off that way. It's in your delivery. I didn't no, the way you said that wasn't delivered properly. And you don't realize it, but it made them feel bad. And I'm like, really? And I'm shocked, because in my opinion, I think I did a great job with my delivery. But I'm learning that when I say things, I have a condescending tone sometimes. A little patience for ignorance. I really, really do. Especially if you're a certain age, and you should know by now what to and not to do. If you say something, if you do something, and I know that you knew better, but you chose not to do better, then what the hell, man? Really?
Well, you know what I'm learning though, Isra? Even with that, my husband will say to me, remember when you needed patience shown to you? Because I'll be like, they knew. And he'd be like, I know. But remember when you needed the patience? But I gotta keep saying the same thing. I know, but remember when you had to keep hearing the same thing? So it's allowing me, because I can still be challenged, but it's allowing me to not be so critical of what I think is ignorance. Because I can't tell you the numerous times that I've been on the ignorant list.
I have to. Oh God, I stay on the ignorant list.
Right?
I stay on that list.
That's what makes us have the patience, baby. And two, that's why we dig you, because in being true to yourself, you're honest with yourself.
Yeah.
And it's letting us know what we got to work on, what we're challenged with. It lets us know how to be better people.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, you know what? I have to look at myself in the mirror every day, which is something I used to never do. I used to never look in the mirror because I hated myself. So it took me years to look in that mirror. I have to be honest with myself because I'm all I got. I mean, there's no, when I say that, I mean, there's no one else in this skin but me. It's not like I have 4 other people in here. And if I fuck up, then somebody else will take over. No, it's just me. I'm the only one in this skin. So I have to make this body the best way that I can and make it as pleasant to live in or to reside in.
We love you, baby.
I love you guys. Steven said he loves y'all.
Love him back. We love you, Peaches.
And Auntie Robin, we love you.
All right, baby.
Okay.
Come on, y'all. Are you true to yourself?
And we got to speak to Brother Alexander the Great. Because Brother Alexander the Great, the room will tell you should get out of here if you're going to be negative.
Oh, no, that's Christian Alexander.
My bad.
Right,
Christian
that's
Alexander, my fault.
Yeah.
Who said, if you know so much, why did you take your wife's career to the sword? And you got to address that.
Address him, Daddy.
I got you. Lovingly, brother, here's the thing. If standing by a brown woman, a black woman, who is simply telling the truth, and you say, I've got to stand by you, is taking her career to the sword, what we're basically saying, as she so eloquently stated on Steve Harvey's show, sometimes you have to put the truth before the show. Because at the end, when the show is over, the truth is going to be sitting right there waiting on that ass.
Come on.
And if you can't look you in the mirror after the show is over, because see, there's a lot of billionaires out here in this world that they got the bag and they got people's respect because of how much money they've made. But when the show's over, they can't look themselves in the eyes and they can't, because they can't deal with the lies. So at the end of the day, for us, we just look at it like this. If that's what it is, I prefer to be in the soil with the truth than being in the penthouse on a lie. Because the penthouse telling a lie is only going to end you up intellectually, spiritually, and financially back in the soil because you can't keep up the lie.
So now we'll all be in the sewer together.
That's it.
Come on, y'all. Are you true to yourself? And if it was left up to this brother Christian, and just the name alone tickles the shit out of me. Christian, if it was left up to him, we would all be a lot of frightened puppets. We would all be in that place of acceptance. Just whatever you give me, that's what I'm gonna accept. Whatever you say, that's what it's going to be. As you preach the word of God. For the life of me, I don't get that. And for me, I say this humbly, I feel sorry for your family. Because what you are saying is that if you do have a wife and she was faced with this situation right here, and the people she had to face it with were some powerful people in other people's eyes.
And when you read from
that set you up.
Please don't let me destroy. It set me up because of my blind ass.
Oh, okay.
Jaime Tanglawa says, "Oh my God, Mrs. Mo, you're an icon of my people in New Zealand."
Oh,
okay.
Baby.
So when they say you ain't reaching the people, and there's someone from New Zealand saying you're an icon to my people, and Christian Alexander says your career is in the soil, what you don't understand is it's more impactful when our brothers and sisters see us out and about and they say, hey, we standing with you, because there's an old saying, real recognizes real. So the fact that you feel a certain way, we love you for it. because you only know what you know. But you keep hanging around individuals that are caught up in their careers and not caught up in the truth associated with what it is that they're doing in their career. And I'll show you somebody who's lonely as hell at the end of the day.
Come on now. Are you true to your damn self? Just before we go back to the line, Daddy, I wrote this one down because I didn't want to forget it.
Mhm.
Her story in the room says, I've been in a 20-year marriage and have not had a real and honest conversation with my husband for the last 10 years. So that's what, when you say, are you being true to yourself? I think you've answered this, sis. You and your husband, are y'all being true to one another and to each other individually? Because to be in a relationship for 20 years and for the last 10 to not be able to have an honest conversation, that's imprisonment.
And it's understandable how it can happen
Mhm.
because we in our culture, we are used to sweeping things under the rugs. See, we refer to items like generational curses. We throw that out there and say generational curses. A generational curse are just secrets that are not spoken about amongst the generations.
Come on.
And you're subject to repeat them again and again. It's not really a curse. It's just that logically, if you don't discuss the things that got you hung up, it is very easy for those who came after you to get hung up on those same things unless there's a level of observation on their part to say these won't be the things that hang me up. And I personally was gifted with a woman named Minnie Hicks, who was my grandmother, who I got a chance to observe and hear about the mistreatment and the lack of consideration that my grandfather gave to her and disallowed her to be who she was and didn't stand by her side. And she said, hey, when you have a wife, because she trained me for this person right here, who was a Sagittarian just like her with the same initials, just like her, MH, and said, when you have a wife, stand by her side. Let her be who she is. And if she's a real woman, she's going to appreciate that. I've gotten an opportunity to see my father not stand by my mother's side and be supportive. And we must understand, and I don't say that to throw shade or anything. I say that because I'm not going to ask someone else, would they please share and we not share? Because we understand that there was a different time and there was a level of respect culturally from a societal standpoint where women were second-class citizens. I'm saying now we can change that. So when I hear someone like a Christian Alexander saying what he's saying, it's a misinterpretation on his part that he doesn't understand. How can you leave your Black queen for simply telling the truth to side with people who don't care about you? But they care about that money.
Come on. Y'all, we're talking about it. Are you true to yourself? Let's go to the lines, Daddy.
Because for you not to sell your soul.
Let them know we're here.
Hey, baby, you're on with Monique and Sydney. Who's this and where you calling from?
Yes, ma'am. This is Miss Nicholson, and I'm calling from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Hey, baby, talk to us, Miss Nicholson.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Miss Monique. I just want to say thank you for what you have done for me. Because, I desperately wanted to be somebody. I'm only 27. I don't have children yet. But I have been through a lot of hurricanes, and I have, been offered many opportunities, to take that easy way out.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to thank you, Ms. Monique, for being a gracious empress. You really are a priceless jewel.
Thank you, little sister.
We appreciate that.
Love
yes,
you so
ma'am.
much.
You really are something special. I appreciate you for, speaking the truth, even when it hurts, because it's not a lot of people that have that type of courage, Ms. Monique. You really, you don't understand me growing up in the 90s. watching the Parkers, feeling so good about myself to know I don't have to be a stereotype in order to get respect out here.
We love you, little
Yes,
sister.
ma'am. I mean, everything about you is impeccable. You're priceless. You're irreplaceable. And I just want to say, Miss Monique, if it wasn't for you paving the way for me, I don't know where I would be.
Thank you, little sister. We're going to keep on pushing together, baby.
God bless you. Please stay in your lane, because you are really a pioneer, and you are paving the way for so many of us conscious individuals that want to elevate and liberate.
We love you, baby. We're going to keep on going.
Thank you.
Oh, see, y'all, that's why we keep going, Christian Alexander. That's why we keep going. And when you have people to say, well, if you don't like what they're saying, why go in the room? Keep showing up. Keep showing up. Because for the ones that may have not the kindest things to say, or they want to, those are the ones that show up. Because you may leave one day with your mind changed and your heart changed. So that y'all know when you come in here, we ain't the ones that's going back down, waver, say, oh no, we scared. Because that's why we sit in the position we sit in with our communities right now. Because there are too many Christian Alexanders out there saying, just be quiet. Just be quiet.
Like a good slave.
Come on, y'all. Let's go to the line. Hey, you're on with Monique and Sydney. Who's this and where you calling from?
This is Taylor from Las Vegas, Nevada. I just wanted to really quick just address this Christian Alexander person that's in the comments. I just want to let you know, brother, that we all have a personal responsibility to pursue happiness. And when you dwell on the negative, you put yourself in a position where you're destroying your own life. It's not affecting any of us. It's not affecting Monique and Sydney, brother. It's affecting you. You are responsible for your own happiness. And when you walk around miserable, all you're doing is showing everybody that you are unhappy in your life. So we pray for you, brother. I just want to just put that up there.
We love you, baby.
That's our folks. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you, sweet. See, Daddy, that's what I did.
Yeah.
When, even through the midst of his whatever it is,
His rants.
thank you. The community is still saying, brother, we're going to push you up.
Yeah, we're not going to beat you down with anger, what you're trying to provide. We're going to lift you up with love.
And you know what, too? I want to address this, Daddy, because here's what's, I don't know what word to use, but this is the word I'll use for it right now. Here's what I think is bad. To tell the truth now equates to being negative. To tell the truth now equates to being difficult. To tell the truth equates to now you're whining. Y'all, when did telling the truth become such a bad thing? Like, that's the part that is puzzling. And
well, telling the truth has always been a bad thing if you were telling the truth about someone who the population presumed had power over you. Because this could be the stepping stone of them losing their proverbial power. And this is the reason why someone like a Christian Alexander feels the need to call in, because he's not a free thinker. See, when we speak in reference to love, and not that there's anything wrong with it, what we're not going to do is say or try to sell you on Jesus, try to sell you on God, because people will say, well, why not? Well, would you have a problem if I tried to sell you on the Messiah from a Jewish standpoint? Would you have a problem? Would you appreciate if I tried to sell you on Allah from the standpoint of the Islamic faith? Or are you comfortable enough being sold on the energy that embodies all of those things, no matter what you believe? Because if you reverse engineer your life, if you engineer everything mentally in life, what precedes energy? What can be constructed without it? So in our humble opinion, when we think about what is God, we think about it as what is energy. And is yours positive or is it negative? And that's the proverbial God in you, your energy and what you're emitting. So when you speak to, again, a brother like Christian, you can't be mad at him because folks only get it when they get it.
Mhm.
And you have to ask yourself, what would make someone come into an environment where they're discussing things from a positive standpoint, but you bring a negativity and not observe that something is wrong with you? So are you being true to yourself, Christian? Perhaps you are. But we wanted to be truthful with you and let you know it's okay, but you're going to see the benefits of being the way you are or the negatives associated with being who you are, because you can't stop being you.
Are you true to yourself? Hey, you're on with Monique and Sydney. Who's this and where you're calling from?
Yes, hi, this is Diana. I'm calling from Philly.
Hey, baby, talk to us.
Yes, I've been talking to you guys for a while now. And yes, the question is, are you true to yourself? And yes, I am true to myself. And it took me it's probably until I got into my mid-20s. I'm 31 now, but I got into my mid-20s to figure out that, yes, I have to do things that are good for me and no one else.
Mm-hmm. Y'all catching it young, baby.
Yeah, I I had to go through some things, and I had to realize that everything that I was doing for other people. And when you are true to yourself, you start to know that people don't like that. People don't like you anymore. And I would rather be hated for who I am than to be loved for who I'm not. And that's where it gets to that point where you have to say no. You have to set boundaries, and people who are so used to receiving things from you, or they're used to seeing a certain person or seeing a certain side of you that's not really who you are truly, and they don't get that anymore. It's like they don't like that. They don't. Oh, why is she saying no all of a sudden? Or why is he doing this? Or oh, he's being real brand new. It's not. No, I'm not being brand new. I'm being who I really am.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You have to. Sometimes you really have to. You gotta piss. Excuse my language, but you have to piss a few people off. And sometimes people are not gonna like that. Even you yourself are not gonna like that. You yourself are gonna look at yourself and say, "Oh my God, I'm really not what I thought I was."
That's it.
We love you, baby.
Thanks for calling in.
Come on, y'all. Are you true to yourself? For whatever that means to you.
That's it.
For whatever that, last weekend at the show, and by the way, this is our last weekend in Vegas. But last weekend at the show, there was a young lady up front, and you could tell she was very uneasy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just almost had a look to her like, please don't address me, don't say nothing to me, nothing. And when I got on, there was 2 lesbian women sitting to my left.
Mm-hmm.
And when I, greeted them and welcomed them to the show, and we were talking, well, the young lady that was really quiet said, hey, that's for me. So when I went over to her, I'm like, is that what's got you so uptight? That you too afraid to be who you, if you don't go on and be gay and love up on this woman you with right here. So the little girl she was with was like, I'm not, I'm just her friend. But it was so beautiful just in those moments. You saw that young lady take the cloud off of her.
Mm-hmm.
Because, y'all, we've gotten so conditioned and so fearful of speaking what's true to us and living what's true to us. So for the ones that are saying to me and saying to Sydney, why don't y'all just move on? If that's the way you would handle it that way. Handle it that way. However, we're not telling you how to handle yours one way or the other. So when you come visit with us and you get to saying things that you really don't know what you're speaking of, and then try to be educated on it, but you've already made the decisions, then you have to ask yourself, am I being true to me or am I being closed to me?
And in addition to the fact that we have been conditioned and we can recondition ourselves.
Mm,
For as many times as we have walked away disappointed, mistreated, neglected, and abused, is as many times as we reiterated to our abuser, to our oppressor, that we can do what it is that we choose, and they'll say nothing.
mm,
So now we believe that it's that time. You can smell it in the air.
come on.
That the individuals that are doing the oppressing, the individuals that you are fearful of because you believe them to be so powerful, need to be fearful of doing things that are wrong because they understand that the power is in the people. And that if more people understand that we are closer and we all are really riding in the same boat more than we realize,
Mm,
then we will stop being afraid of those who are on the yachts who don't have to row. They got the
mm.
captain and the whole team around them, because at that point, they start understanding they're not going to take it anymore. So if you choose to allow people to take advantage of you, it's your choice. But we humbly are trying to speak to people and say, don't let people take advantage of you. Why should they have more value than you as a human being simply because they may have more money than you as a human being?
Come on, y'all. Are you true to yourself? Hey, you're on with Monique and Sydney. Who's this and where you're calling from?
Hey, Monique. Hey, Uncle Ben. Hey, Auntie.
Hey,
This is
babe.
Kenneth. I'm doing good, baby. This is Kenneth Hollywood Woo Gaddy. I called you a few weeks ago.
Hey,
Medicine
sweet.
Man.
Talk to us.
Okay, so being true to yourself, I must tell you, I just got finished watching your interview. I think it was on Comic Something on YouTube, and I was crying with you because I understand, and I relate what they did to you to the R. Kelly situation. And I'm gonna tell you why. I love R. Kelly. But here's the analogy. Okay, whatever relationship he had with those people, the parents knew and they accepted money. So not only did R. Kelly take advantage of them, but their parents raised them too. And I compare what Tyler Perry, Oprah, and all them folks did was the same thing. It's like being black and wearing blackface. Oh, I'm black, but I'm not really. Look, I'm all the way in Arkansas, and I told you before, I want to stand on stage with you, and we're gonna perform. We're gonna do the damn thing. I was so pissed. I was hotter than fish grease with cayenne pepper and hot sauce. Did you understand?
Come on, baby. That's hot.
You understand? But being true to yourself, I just want to say, you are the epitome. You and Uncle Sid are the epitome of truth, and I thank you guys because of the stance that you guys take. You are allowing people to be okay. It's okay to tell the truth. It is okay to tell the truth. It is okay to stand out. It is okay to feel alone. Sometimes it's lonely at the top. And sometimes it's a lonely place to be, but it's a great place to be because guess what? I can sleep at night knowing that I told somebody the truth, no matter how much it might have hurt. But I love you enough to tell you the truth. I love you enough to not see my fellow brother or my fellow sister fall to the wayside. We have an obligation to ourselves and to people. We can't say that we love our brother and let our brothers and sisters fall. Fall, and you be a part of that fall. That's not being true. It's not being true.
That's it.
And it's being predatory. And so I just want to say, I love you. I love you. I love you. I can't say it enough. If I had 10,000 tongues, as the Bible said, I couldn't say it enough. I love y'all.
We
I
love you
love y'all
back,
for everything
baby.
that y'all stand for. Monique, I've been trying to follow you on social media, baby. I'm telling you something. Y'all got it. And Sydney, I'm gonna tell you something. I need a manager too. And I don't want nobody but you, because I know it's gonna be the truth. I love y'all here. Y'all
We
stay
love you,
blessed.
baby.
Thank you.
Mwah.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Oh, come on now. Are you being true to yourself?
Are you being true to yourself?
And if you're not, who's watching? You know, for the sister that said, yeah, baby.
You just said something. It's like oftentimes we think the truth is what people say when we're in front of them. But the truth is who you are when no one is watching.
Come on.
And someone reached out, someone said, I love Tyler Perry's speech that he said on BET. And when you have a real cat, like
Come on.
real G's in the business, they'll go underneath the radar like a Master P. That's a real G in the business.
Come on.
Because you hear about him trying to do things for his community. You see him raising his son.
Daughter, yeah.
In a way in which the young man the other day who was turned down from Six Flags for a job, Lil Romeo comes on and offers him a part in his movie. That right there is big, though it may seem small, but to be able to uplift yours when somebody turned him away simply because of the locks in his head, and you have a Master P who ain't scared when he says, oh, when I see my homeboy Tyler Perry and he ain't happy for me, man, and left it at that. But what it says is too, in our community, the spots are so limited in our mind that we look at other people that are trying to make it in this world as our competition, not understanding that they supposed to try to win. They're supposed to try to win. And when they win, congratulate them, because it takes nothing from you. But again, the truth, it only goes away when
you stop talking about it.
When you stop talking about it.
And
we not gonna stop talking about
it. Let's go to the lines. Hey, you're on with Monique and Sydney. Who's this and where you're calling from?
Hi, I'm surprised I got through.
We surprised too.
Talk to us.
My name is Damon. I live in the Bronx.
Hey, baby.
Talk to us.
I saw that interview with Tyler, with Master P talking about Tyler Perry. This is the issues that we have in society. Okay.
Okay.
A lot of people come from broken homes. A lot of people come from unstable backgrounds. You know, as far as foundation, and we have come to a consensus, I guess, through the 90s, was everybody's about the bag and about getting money and securing the bag and all that stuff, disillusionment. Because securing the bag is making sure that you are healthy, wealthy, and your mindset is full of mindfulness, that you're out here supporting and helping each other rise up. There's a lot of programs missing in society. There's a lot of missing intricate things that we have between each other that we need to really look at, because a lot of economic status got in the way, religious status got in the way, and it seems like everybody's going to be using their thoughts and their behavior based on old rhetoric. And that's not, right now, that's not for today, because we got a lot of enemies out there that's against us as far as brown and people from other countries. And We don't need that type of, go between with each other as far as blacks and Latinos. And it's very disheartening to hear that celebrities don't hold each other up like they give that window of image from these young kids. These young kids think, oh, I want to be a celebrity. I want to get the bag. I want to be involved in that. And they get there, and everything is a facade.
There it is, brother. We appreciate you calling in, man.
Love you, baby.
Yep.
We're talking about it, y'all.
Makisha Williams, she said a lot of people essentially talk in reference to uplifting, and she asked, what are you doing to help people cross over? We hear you talking about it, but what are you helping people do to cross over? And if I may.
Yes, my baby.
What we're saying is, why you got to cross over? Why can't you be who you are? Because if we find a way to have appreciation for what it is that we're doing, it's okay for people to come on over and check us out. But we're not going to deviate from being who we are to cross over to this imaginary group of people who know not who you are, but they know who they want you to portray yourself as. And if you're willing to cross over to be something else, this is the illusion that our last brother who was just speaking on the phone is talking about. So from the standpoint of what are we doing, I can tell you this. When you approach Monique, there are countless comedians from around the country who know what it is to walk up to Monique in a comedy club and say, Miss Monique, I want to be a stand-up comic. I just haven't gotten the opportunity. And she say to him, well, I'll tell you what, come back tomorrow and I'll give you 5 minutes. That's part of what I've seen her do. I can tell you about the countless schools that she's gone to. And I'm not talking about All-Star Prep Academy. I'm talking about where the graduation rate might not be that high, where it's a lot of things that are negative that fall into the stereotypes, but they are real. They happen in these schools. And then the school says, we want to call the local news to let them know. And she says, this is not for them. This is for us. So oftentimes there's a difference between individuals that are having conversations and you see what they're doing publicly, but you don't see what they're doing privately. What we're discussing privately, the beautiful part is what's being done privately. What we're discussing publicly. You haven't seen her when she was rubbing oil on senior citizens' feet because they didn't take care of them properly at the senior citizen home, or bathing them because someone had an accident and that person not know who Monique is. She's just a sister coming in because there's a frame of mind they may not even be in to even know who she is. That's not important. The importance is that the people who we are sitting here sharing with you are who we are when there are no lights, there are no cameras. Subsequently, this is why we're comfortable with having a discussion about, are you living your truth?
Are you true to yourself, baby?
Are you true to yourself?
Are you true to yourself? And you'll find that when you do become true to yourself, watch what happens. Let's take this last call. Hey, you're on with Monique and Sydney. Who's this and where you're calling from?
Hi, Queen. How are you?
Wonderful, Queen. How you doing?
I am good. This is Regina Hooks. Listen, I was just tuned in. I was listening to what you guys were talking about. What I wanted to say about being true to yourself, especially being in Hollywood, what I've noticed with a lot of the rappers and a lot of the football players and people that are out there is that they get to a level where they want to do social activism, where they want to talk about things that are going on, but they really don't do anything with the platform that they have to uplift. For example, look at Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson went around the world doing good work that a lot of people don't know. He touched children. He took care of people's medical bills. He put back into his community of Gary, Indiana. A lot of artists, a lot of these rappers like Nicki Minaj and Cardi B, you don't hear them talk about the importance of giving back to the community from which they came from. Like the previous person said, they're always talking about how they can get a bag or how they can take these trips. But even when you listen to the music of today, you don't hear artists talking about how we can heal the world as Michael did, how we can uplift one another, how we can love one another. And it was in the word where it was said that you can identify a person by the fruits of their labor or how that they do things. You can tell if they're a soul or an individual that's about you by the way they do. And a lot of these artists, a lot of these football players, they make these millions of dollars, but they don't give back. But they can get on a soapbox and tell you what's wrong, but they don't get together and pull and say, okay, let's give back to our community. We know what the issues are, but let's pool our resources with all this money and all this fame and all this wealth and all the platforms that we have. Let's uplift our community. Let's uplift those that are less fortunate. And I think what you guys are talking about is really, really important because a lot of people, to me, the speech that Tyler Perry gave to me was like crocodile tears. You know, that's who he is when he's in front of the cameras and they're rolling. But behind the scenes, there are so many stories of him being selfish and rude to people and crass. And, you know, it's very rare that you hear that people in the industry, people in Hollywood actually give of themselves and they make that a platform of who they are. And also about being an individual. Nowadays, it seems like everybody has a collective mentality. If you don't go the way of the herd, if you have your own mind or your own way of looking at things, you're considered an oddity. You know, you're you know, as a singer, I've been told because I'm trans and because I support Trump, because I do, that I would never have a real career. No one would take me seriously. But I don't believe that because I believe my talent will outshine any of that. And I think that that's being true to who you are as an individual. You have to be yourself. So I just was listening. I always try to catch you guys. I always try to support you, Queen. And I thank you so much for your support. And I thank you so much for all that you do. You are an inspiration to people. And I just wanted to thank you guys for this topic. I think it's a really important thing that needs to be pointed out. You know, just like when you were talking to Steve Harvey, it's about integrity, the content of your character, not the color of your skin.
Yes. Yep. We love you, baby.
Thank you for calling.
Love you too, and thank you so much. And keep putting that real word out there.
You got our word, baby.
That's it.
Come on, y'all. Are you true to yourself? That's what this show was about.
Are you true to yourself? And when people, as she said, being and thinking differently is an oddity. So be an oddity. Be comfortable being an oddity. Because I've quoted him before, but there's an astrophysicist named Neil deGrasse Tyson, and he says we are made of star stuff. And individuals who ridicule you, they don't know what you're made of, and they don't know where star you came from. But only you know the inside of you, though you might not even know why you act and why you feel the way you do, but you know that you feel the way that you do. Be comfortable being who you are and be comfortable being the oddity. And one day, what was once odd is now what is the norm.
Come on.
Mama.
Daddy.
It's that time.
Give me a kiss. We want to thank y'all, my babies, because y'all could have been doing anything else, but y'all decided to spend your time with us. So thank you. Tell a friend, tell another friend, then tell 10 more friends. And like my daddy always says, the mind is like a parachute.
It is no good unless it's open.
We love y'all.
For free.
Mwah. I don't.
Okay, cut this off, please.
Last time.
I did, baby, but it just disappeared this time.